Welcome to this tutorial on PowerShell troubleshooting. Today we're exploring two essential preference variables that will transform how you debug and troubleshoot your PowerShell scripts. These are the VerbosePreference and DebugPreference variables. Understanding these tools is crucial for anyone working with PowerShell, whether you're writing simple scripts or complex automation workflows. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly when and how to use each preference variable to make troubleshooting faster and more effective. Let's start with the basics. Preference variables are built-in PowerShell variables that control how PowerShell responds to different types of output during script execution. Think of them as switches that determine what information gets displayed on your screen. Their primary purpose is to control the visibility and behavior of messages while your scripts are running. This means you can choose to see detailed information when you need it, or keep your output clean and minimal when you don't. These variables give you complete control over your PowerShell environment. The first preference variable we'll examine is VerbosePreference, written as $VerbosePreference. This variable controls whether verbose messages are displayed during script execution. Verbose messages provide detailed information about what your script is doing at each step. By default, the verbose preference is set to silently continue, which means all verbose messages are hidden. This keeps your console output clean during normal operations, but you can change this setting whenever you need more detailed information about your script's execution flow. There are two main ways to enable verbose output in PowerShell. The first method is to set the VerbosePreference variable directly. You write $VerbosePreference equals "continue". After setting this, any Write-Verbose commands in your script will display their messages. For example, Write-Verbose processing data ... will now appear in your console. The second method is to use the verbose parameter with individual CMDlets, like getProcess-verbose. This approach gives you more granular control, showing verbose output only for specific commands. Now let's look at the DebugPreference variable, written as $DebugPreference. This variable controls whether debug messages are displayed during execution. Debug messages are designed to show technical details that help you troubleshoot specific problems in your code. Like VerbosePreference, the default value is silently continue, meaning debug messages remain hidden unless you explicitly enable them. Debug output is particularly useful when you need to inspect variable values or understand why a particular piece of logic isn't working as expected. Enabling debug output works the same way as verbose output. First, you can set the preference variable by writing $DebugPreference equals "continue". Once enabled, any Write-Debug statements will display their output. For example, Write-Debug variable value $count will show you the current value of your count variable. Alternatively, you can use the debug parameter with CMDlets, such as testconnection-computername server 01-debug. This displays debug information only for that specific command, keeping other output clean. Understanding when to use verbose versus debug output is important for effective troubleshooting. Verbose messages are for detailed informational content about what your script is doing. They provide operational context, showing the flow and progress of your script execution. Think of verbose output as a step-by-step narration of your script's activities. Debug messages, on the other hand, are for technical details needed when solving specific problems. They're focused on problem-solving, helping you inspect values, test conditions, and identify logic errors. Use verbose for understanding flow and debug for investigating issues. Let's wrap up with 4 best practices for using these preference variables effectively. First, use verbose output to track script progress and understand execution flow when you need to see what's happening step by step. Second, use debug output to inspect variable values and identify logic errors when something isn't working correctly. Third, always reset your preferences to their default values after troubleshooting to avoid excessive output cluttering your console during normal operations. And fourth, Combine both strategically when you need comprehensive troubleshooting information. Using Verbose and Debug together gives you complete visibility into your script's behavior. With these tools, you'll troubleshoot PowerShell scripts like a professional.
If you like this video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Visit codelucky.com for more such useful content.